Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Safety Net series brought to you by the United Way of Southwest Alabama. This week we are featuring our partner agency, VOA Southeast. Mr. Rob Rogers is going to be joining us to tell us all about the wonderful things that they've got going on and how you can get involved. But before we do that, we want to make sure and thank our sponsors. You can see them there on the graphic. We are grateful for all their support and all that they do for us each and every year. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So VOA Southeast has a lot of stuff going on. Can you give us like an overview of what your mission is, and then maybe we can pull out some individual programs or groups that y'all serve?
VOA is a faith-based ministry. First off, we are not necessarily well known, even though we've been around since 1896 nationally. We've been serving the Gulf Coast for 40 plus years now, and we do basically whatever is needed, and we work alongside in partnership with local communities, local governments, stakeholders to address needs. And so we have a lot of different looks as you look at branches of VOA across the country. This branch, Southeast, which represents Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, is a very heavy affordable housing branch. So we build affordable housing for all sorts of populations, low-income families, for veterans that are struggling, homeless veterans, for instance, for people with disabilities, and that could be mental illness or that could be an intellectual disability. And then in addition to the housing itself, we bring in services to address needs that those individuals might have. We do a lot of intellectual disability services around South Alabama. And that looks like group homes, that looks like day rehabilitation centers where we're helping individuals with daily living skills. We do a lot of vocational rehab where we help these individuals find jobs in the community, train them up and launch them. And we do a lot of unique things. Like, for instance, we build ramps on people's homes where they are disabled and can no longer get in and out of their home. And so we put those ramps on, and it's life-changing for these individuals. They can engage with the community. They can build relationships and friendships again. They can get out and do simple things that we take for granted, like going to the grocery store. And we probably do 100 to 150 of those a year, in addition to building these very large multi-million-dollar apartment complexes that are affordable housing. So it's all ends of the spectrum there. We feed, and we work alongside all the different community partners that are working to address the significant need that's in our communities when it comes to food and food insecurity. And so that typically for us, for VOA, goes out through our network of church partners and community providers. We have a very large network. And so we help stock pantries all over the place. We do that through donations that we receive, through grants we receive. It's a big part of what we do because each and every day people show up at our door with a unique need that we don't have a program for. Mm-hmm. And we have to figure out, by working with United Way and other community partners, how do we address that need? And we don't turn people away. That's not our ministry.
Wonderful. So that really is quite a spectrum of services. How many people would you say that you guys serve in a year? An estimate.
We are serving 35,000 plus people a year and across 3 states. And that's right now with about 600 paid employees and another 500 contracted employees. And then a lot of volunteers. And it's a very large mission. We don't have near enough staff right now for the need that we're all facing. Common problem.
I think that's definitely a common problem. But if you're serving that many people, you need to be staffed up.
We do. That's the biggest challenge that I believe nonprofits are facing. Finding people that a lot of the staff that we have, a large number have worked with VOA for over 10, 20, 30 years. So there's a lot of dedication and passion for the people that we're working with. And trying to find those people at this point in time is difficult. There's so many opportunities out there, and trying to identify and find people that bring that passion for the ministry and for serving others, that's a challenge.
Absolutely. So then you're definitely, like you were saying, leaning on volunteers. What kind of activities do you need volunteers for?
We use volunteers all over the place. For instance, up in the Bay Minette area, we run a program called Light of the City that works with impoverished neighborhoods and children specifically. It does an after-school program, GED work, and then in the summer runs a number of summer camps. And so we use a lot of volunteers there to work with the kids. We have a campus called Eagles Landing out on Moffett Road that serves 38 homeless veterans. It's transitional housing where they can stay with us. They could stay up to 2 years, but typically they stay about 9 months. We stabilize, we help them find employment, we help them find housing, and then we launch them back into the community. And these are individuals that are chronic homeless. They are living in the woods, living under bridges, touching the emergency services system in all different points, police, ERs, mental health centers, etc. Mm-hmm. And we're stabilizing them. So we use a lot of volunteers there as well. And then the big thing that we do with Fox 10 and have been doing for over 30 years is our season of caring, which starts typically around October and runs to January. And with Fox 10, we do the 10 caring gifts. Mm-hmm. And one of those gifts, for instance, is we provide all of the toys for foster care children in Mobile County and Baldwin County. And again, there's no program that we run for this. This is just, it was a need, and we said, yeah, we can do it. Yeah. And so there's a lot of needs. In those 10 categories, there are things that we take care of. Like, for instance, one of them is for new mothers, who need formula and diapers and all the sorts of things that a new mom needs for her child. And we collect for that. Well, when that happens, we are inundated with donations. And so that's where volunteers can really be beneficial to come in and sort and process and get these things back out the door into our community partners' hands and into the hands of these individuals and families that are desperate for them.
Wonderful. So what would you say is your greatest need? Now, I know all of us in the nonprofit world, financial support is always a super important and welcome thing, but beyond monetary donations, what is your biggest need, and how can people help?
Well, staffing is definitely the biggest need.
Yeah.
So people are out there and they're looking for work, and they want to do something that is very rewarding. I've been with VOA for 24 years. I love working here. I love being a part of a faith-based Christian ministry. If that is appealing to you, I would say come and join us. At a minimum, we're a big believer here in the power of prayer, and pray for the ministry, pray for workers to come, pray for the people that we're serving. They need a lot of help and assistance. They need patience. And one of the cool things about what we do is that we get to show love to people that in many cases, sadly, have not experienced that. And they've not had relationships that were uplifting or esteem building. And we come alongside them, and we love on them, and we bring structure, and we teach them skills so that they do not have to depend on us, but they can go forward in life and be contributing members to these communities.
Okay. Other than the 10 caring gifts and the stuff that you have around the holidays, do you have any events or anything that you'd like the world to know about?
Before COVID, were doing annual events, and we had a Beacon on the Bay event we would do each year. We have not gotten back into that since COVID. So we're not doing formal events at this point. They may be introduced at some point in the future, but I think a lot of things have changed since the pandemic, and we're having to reevaluate how do we interact with donors? What's the best way to interact with donors at this point?
Okay.
And we're not there yet.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. You'll keep us in the loop, and we'll be sure to push out whenever you guys are ready to step back
Thank
into
you.
that, or however that looks going forward. We're always happy to help.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts for us today?
No, I just the last thing I would say is just I want to stress the importance of what I call the social safety net, and that is these nonprofits that make up United Way, and even many of the churches in the community. They are so critically important and so underfunded. And if they went away, people don't realize the impact that all of these small nonprofits are having, especially in these niche areas where there might only be one or two entities that are even addressing a certain problem or a certain need.
Mhm.
It's just critical that the community supports these different nonprofits that are within the United Way network.
I couldn't agree more. So thank you. We appreciate your time this morning. I'm going to throw up another graphic that has our sponsors listed out a little bit further. So we are grateful to them. Thank you, Rob Rogers with VOA Southeast, for joining us today and sharing your mission. And we wish all of you the best in your day going forward.